Oh, hello. My name's Alan. I'm going to tell you some Irish stories. You might not have heard these stories before, but they're stories from back in the olden days of Ireland. People used to pass them on through word of mouth. They didn't even write them down. People just knew them in their hearts. Unfortunately, I don't. But I'll be reading them out to you, and I hope you like them very much. So here's the first one. Pick one out for you here. The Children of Lir. When Lir's wife died, he didn't dwell on his own grief, but thought only of his own 4 children and their sudden loss. What would they do without a mother? He thought. How will they cope? I should try to find myself a new wife so they'll be motherless no longer. Vanilla, he called, calling his eldest child aside. I've decided to get married again, for I know how well you 4 are missing your mother. All I have to do now is decide who would be suitable to replace her. Fanula frowned. Not happy. Then shook her head, still not happy. Father, we don't need another mother, she said. I am old enough to look after my little brothers. I can even try to look after you if you let me. But parents never listen to their children, and they should, but they don't. And Lear, always sure his decisions were the right thing, began to think who he could marry. Because, it was about him as well, a little bit. And once his thoughts turned to Aoife, who was the younger sister of his dead wife, which is a bit weird. But a lot of these stories are like that. That kind of weird. You wouldn't get away with it today, but this was back in the day. Would she not be an ideal choice? Already the children's aunt, sure to cherish them and love them? Aoife was very beautiful, with skin like cream and hair as dark and shiny as blackberries grown in a summer hedge. She was also vain, however, and had a jealous nature. When Lear proposed to her, all she could think about was the fine life she would lead married to a powerful king, with wealth galore and friends throughout Ireland. She imagined the children being minded by servants, while she and Lear enjoyed themselves, throwing parties and going on holidays. And everyone admiring her beauty, dressed as she would be in jewels and silks. They were married in early spring. And already by the end of June, Aoife was feeling pretty fed up with her new life. It seemed to her that the palace had been turned into one big playroom for the children, and it wasn't about the children, it was about her, and she knew it well. With their toys in every room and the long gallery serving as an indoor sports pitch for them to play their games of football and catch and hurling. And she was not keen on the idea. Lear never wanted to go anywhere or do anything, just stay at home with what he called our happy little family, because he loved his kids. But she couldn't care less. If only, she thought, the children were not there. With this thought, there flashed into Aoife's mind another. Why not get rid of them? With the 4 of them gone, she was sure that Lear would begin to pay more attention to her, as he should do, considering that she was his wife to begin with. It was a very hot summer, and one morning after breakfast she said, Dear husband, I think I'll summon the chariot and take the children for a picnic, and find a lake somewhere to have an old swim. It's far too hot to hang around here all day. What do you think? Those were the days when they had sunshine in Ireland. I don't know what happened, but yeah, it was too hot. They had to go to the lake for a swim. Lear was delighted, though, to see Aoife taking an interest in the kids. I think it's a terrific idea, he said. Go and tell the charioteer to choose the faster horses and get the most comfortable chariot. I want you guys to enjoy yourselves. I want you to get close, get to know each other. I want you to have a great time. Get the cooked, packed fresh strawberries and a pint of thick yellow cream from the dairy. This should be the first of many picnics for our little family. I'll go on the next one myself, but I can't go on this one. Aoife sniggered, but he didn't hear her. They set out along the dusty paths which served a role in Ireland in those days, and still kind of do. They travelled what seemed like hours to the children. When they finally arrived at the spot which Aoife chose, Fionnuala could glimpse an expanse of shining water through the trees. It was beautiful. It looked cool and inviting, particularly as they were feeling so hot and sticky after the journey. Please, may we go and paddle straight away, she said. Of course, my dear. Aoife's laugh was sinister. But the children were too excited to notice. The water was freezing, despite the heat of the day, because it's still ardent, even if it was back then. Fionnuala took Fiachra's hand, and Con began to splash Hugh, shouting with delight. Soon they were all soaking wet and having a great time. Never mind, Fionnuala said, our clothes will dry quickly in the sun. Suddenly they heard Aoife call from the shore. Attention, you four, turn and look at me, right now. They turned and watched as she widened her eyes, seeing in amazement that they were beginning to glow bright red. Then she raised her hand and pointed her fingers at the children. Like that. Rays, like streaks of lightning, shot from her fingertips and landed on the children. And as they did, each child felt a sting, like the sting of a nettle. Then strange sensations began to happen in their bodies. Fionnuala felt as if something were yanking her neck, pulling it upwards, making it longer. Her shoulders began to itch. Her feathers started to sprout in her shoulders. Hugh looked down at his feet, feeling something between his toes. He was growing webs. Fiachra and Con felt their lips harden and crackle as they were turned into beaks. Within seconds of the magic spell resting on them, they had been turned into 4 beautiful white swans. Aoife's cruel laugh sounded from the shore. This is my spell. For 300 years you will remain here as swans on Lake Derravara. Then you will fly northwards to the Sea of Moyle. After another 300 years, you will travel to Inishglora, and there you will stay for a further 300 years. When you hear the sound of a Christian bell bringing the new religion to this land, you will know that the hour of your release is at hand. The 4 children, swans now, were filled with terror and dismay. Tears welled up in their bird eyes and spilled over onto their downy breasts, making their feathers sodden and matted. Seeing their sorrow, Aoife felt pity. Just for a minute, just for a second, she looked at these sad swans. I will leave you one consolation, she said. You will retain your human voices so that you can talk and sing to one another, which is not weird, seeing the swans singing. When she arrived home, she found Lir pacing up and down in the ramparts of the palace. Can it be true? He asked her. The cherry there loved my children, and he told me a terrible story. Terrible nothing. Aoife's laugh was brazen. Actually more brazen than that. I can't do brazen laugh to you. They were nothing but spoiled brats, she said. I'm your wife after all. And now perhaps you can pay me the attention that you should have been paying the whole time. They'll do fine swimming around there for the next 300 years. And she tittered. Lir was overwhelmed with a sudden fury, you guys. Taking up a druid's wand, he pointed it at her. The old druid's wand is, you'd find around the house those days, under the bed. Where's the druid's wand? It's over here. And she was changed into a demon of the air and disappeared in a puff of smoke, never to be seen again. Something about stepmothers in these stories, there really is. Then Lir set out at once for Lake Derravara. When he arrived there and saw their beautiful faces of swans. They heard their beautiful, sad voices. His heart broke in two. His kid that he loved so much. But Fionnuala swam up to the shore, came up to him, and with her weird swan voice, she said, "Don't be sad, Father dear. Now that you've arrived, I don't feel too bad. Now at least we can all live together once again. We can still talk, and we can still sing to you." And strange to tell, many years passed with much happiness, even though they were swans. At night the swans sang beautiful songs, and during the day they chatted to their father about the olden days when they were swans. Lir had moved his household to the shores of the lake, and his servants built him a little house so that he might always be within sight of his dear children / swans. A sweet calmness hung over Lake Derribara, and visitors often came to look at the beautiful swans who could talk and sing with human voices. I would go and see that, to be honest. I know you, I would. However, Lir could not live for as long as 300 years. Eventually he died. And though he was a very old man, the swans were very sad. Their only consolation was that by craning their long white necks, they could glimpse the grave of being buried at the edge of the sand. And that is the end of part one of the story.